One of the people on my Subscribestar asked me for a Christmas present, and they want me to make a video about this post. Now, I don't know how many of you are going to find it interesting or if my thoughts and opinions on the matter is going to help anyone, but hopefully it will, because I know a lot of people who have a similar problem, although not to this extent. So first of all, let's see what this is about. A person is asking, am I the asshole for yelling at my mom that I hate Harry Potter and wants to live my own life? That was enough of an attention-grabbing moment. What? As my title suggests, my mother is a huge Harry Potter nut. She and my dad actually met in a Harry Potter IRC, like Discord, but for old people. Like Discord, but for old people. In the early 2000s, they got married, had kids, and from day one decided to embarrass us for life by naming us after some Harry Potter and Star Wars characters. So, yeah, don't do this to your kids. I mean, they're going to get bullied in school. No matter how much you like a video game character, no matter how much you like an anime character or someone from a movie, don't name your kids that. You're going to regret it as well. I mean, imagine just calling your kid Potter all the time. And what if your kid is a prick? Hey, think about it this way. You know how a lot of Mexican people name their kid Jesus? And like the name is so common that by sheer law of statistic, you're going to have Jesuses committing crimes. And then you read it in the newspaper, like Jesus raped a woman. Like, well, why you do that? Stop it. Get some help. Just Google the name Jesus, and you will see that besides the religious ones, you're just going to see a guy named Jesus who committed the crime and ended up in the papers. Don't do that. And secondly, there is only one name that I like. Is all the people that named their kid Danny. And then it ended up that Danny was literally Hitler. And there were people very upset on the forums. I have to say I enjoyed that a little bit. Is it sadism if you enjoy other people's misery? It probably is, but in this circumstance, is it allowed? So anyway, apparently, it's honestly been hell. This person describes, I have a stupid name, and since we were little, my parents have forced stuff like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel movies, etc., etc. down our throats. Everything is about dragons and magic and blah, blah, blah. I'm so sick of it. Every birthday, holiday, everything is just organized around fandom. At this point, I want to say that when I looked into the comment section, a lot of people call this guy ungrateful because it's like, oh my god, you have the most amazing parents. You know, you need to understand that what's amazing for you may not be amazing for other people. So, don't apply your lived experiences upon others. If the person says that they don't like it, then they don't like it, alright? Like, you may like it. It's kind of like food, you know? Some people just hate cheese. They're lactose intolerant. They can't have cheese. You're not going to be able to reason with them that everyone needs to have cheese because cheese is amazing and have your cheese. No. That's called being an asshole. Don't impose your preferences upon other people. So anyway, just like every Christmas, the days leading up to Christmas, we have to sit down every night and watch Harry Potter movies. It's so fucking boring. To be honest, I would rather watch Harry Potter movie than watch Home Alone again. Or watch Die Hard. I have managed to dodge Die Hard every single Christmas. I'm not kidding. I've never watched Die Hard. Like, I've seen it. I know the gist of it. I've never watched it. And I'm not planning to. I want to finish my life on this earth by dodging all the Die Hards. So anyway, I can usually get away with knitting or drawing on my iPad during this. But my mom was like, let's just have a technology and distraction-free night every night. I arranged to go over to my friend Missy's house instead for like 2 nights. Missy's family is normal and likes to do a normal amount. My mom got really mad and started talking about how it's a family tradition. And now I'm basically rejecting her and went on her whole thing about how you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Harry Potter. Okay. Let me do a little bit of armchair psychology here. Let me see if I can give an advice. So, this actually happens more often than not in a lot of families. In this particular case, it's bizarre because it's Harry Potter. But there's a lot of religious people out there, and they force their kids to go to Sunday church, and they force their kids to read the Bible and whatnot. But again, it's not just religion. Don't think it's just religion. There are people who are into heavy metal. I have a friend of mine who actually had his parents really deep into heavy metal, and he hated that, right? Because the parents tried to force him to learn guitar, tried to force him to... So, again, it's a useful skill to know how to sing, but my friend didn't like heavy metal. And this caused conflict. It causes conflict. It can also be maybe the parents are doctors and they want the kid to become a doctor. So sometimes it comes out of love and compassion. Like the parents genuinely want to set the kid straight. They want to make sure that after the kid leaves the nest, they have a productive life. And what worked for them and what worked for their grandparents is probably what they have in plan for the child. Unfortunately, there comes the age of rebellion where the child doesn't want to do what their parents tell them. So it's like maybe they don't want to be a doctor. Maybe they want to go into gender studies to become a grandmaster of lesbian dance therapy. A very noble profession that cannot be integrated very well in the economy, like, for example, a doctor. So this causes conflict. The child is bewildered and feels that the oppression is unjustified, that he is not being respected. And you should respect your child, by the way. I mean, using the stick constantly isn't going to give results, because at the end of the day, the kid is going to hate you. He's going to leave your house, and he's going to hate you. And you might not appreciate that. You might think, oh, what did I do wrong? And on the other hand, you as the child need to understand that the parent probably wants what's best for you. In this case with Harry Potter, okay, it's a little bit bizarre. So my personal advice to you is to understand that while this may seem insufferable, it doesn't seem like you're in any physical abuse. So you don't have it that bad. You don't have an alcoholic dad that whoops your ass. You don't have a single mom which is unable to pay the bills, so you're enjoying the cold this winter yet again. So you still have a healthy family, which apparently has the money to still buy Marvel Comics during this depression. So it's not really the worst thing that can happen to you. So my personal advice to you is to suffer it a little bit longer until you can actually get out of the house and live by yourself by paying rent or whatever it is you're doing. And once you do that, it's going to feel very refreshing. And then you can choose how you want to engage with your parents. You can choose to allow them to make the first step. And they're the ones that are going to contact you. And when they contact you, you can have this conversation again. It can be, Mom, please understand and be reasonable. I do not enjoy Harry Potter. I am not like the other kids. I know your little pet project is a kid that loves Harry Potter. I don't. Okay, I just don't. So if you want to still talk with me, which I'm sure you do, if you really love me, you will understand this. And then you give her a time to calm down. And if she genuinely loves you as a parent, she will probably come around. So that is my advice for any teenager which is still living with their parents, and their parents are forcing them into a lifestyle that they don't like. As long as the parent gives you clothes and food and whatever, you have to put up with it. When you're on your own, when you actually move out of the house, then you can have a conversation with your parents from a completely different level. Because now you're independent, and now you can tell your parents, look, enough is enough. Okay, I'm my own person. You did a good job educating me up until this point, but you have to realize that I don't like this. I'm not into heavy metal, or I'm not into religion, or whatever. You know, just have an honest conversation. and tell them that there are now boundaries because now you're an adult and you're independent. Until then, unless it's some actual physical abuse, put up with it. Now, if you're the parent, understand that forcing your will upon the child is easy. Any parent can do it. I mean, you're physically stronger, you're the one that provides food and sustenance, so you can do it. But it's not the most effective way. I understand that some parents want the best that is for their children and they want to set them straight. But if you do it by force, if you constantly use the stick, if it's my way or the highway nonstop, eventually that kid is going to grow up and is going to end up resenting you. And you probably don't want that because when the kid is independent, they're going to do whatever they want anyway. Like, I actually know a couple of kids in my life, especially a girl, who had very controlling parents, didn't allow her to use makeup, didn't allow her to stay out more than 6 p.m., didn't allow her to date any guys. Like, all they allowed her was to study for school. And she actually did get good grades at school, but the moment she went at the university and she was free from her parents' grasp, my God, like this, she was going out clubbing every single day. She was dating 2 guys at the same time. She had all this bizarre makeup because she didn't even know how to put it on herself. She didn't have the experience of other girls, so it was a complete mess. Why? Because finally she was being allowed freedom and she didn't know what to do with it. So you don't want to end up like that. You don't want your kid to end up like that. So really think about what you're doing. I'm not saying that if your kid comes home as a demi-queer fox that's a communist, you should be understanding. I mean, I can understand the demi-queer fox thing, but a communist? Really? So there are certain things where you should actually try to have a conversation, but again, you should be a friend rather than an enforcer. You should try to persuade rather than to inflict the authority. So that is my take on this issue. I mean, in this case with Harry Potter, it is beyond bizarre. I guess the main problem with this is the consumerism aspect. Clearly, this household views Harry Potter as their identity, as their soul, like their essence is Harry Potter. But again, removing Harry Potter, you can replace religion, music, other consumerist brands. Like there are just so many things that a person can internalize and then be very aggressive when the child refuses that. So don't be that parent, okay? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.